You ever get that feeling that your company is just spinning its wheels? I mean, everyone is super busy, lots of activity, but is it actually leading to real progress? Well, today we're going to dive into how to fix that. We're talking about moving past those little departmental numbers to build something bigger, real, unified enterprise value.
Yeah, I bet that question, busy but not productive, hits home for a lot of you. It's such a common frustration, right? Your team, my team, everyone's working hard, maybe even crushing their targets. But when you zoom out, the company as a whole just feels stuck. So what in the world is causing that disconnect?
Well, a lot of the time it comes down to something called the silo trap, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's when every department is so laser-focused on its own goals that all those individual wins just don't add up. They don't push the whole company forward. It's kind of like having a dozen world-class musicians on stage, but they're all playing completely different songs. It's just noise, not music.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll break down that silo trap. Then we'll talk about a big shift from outputs to outcomes. After that, we'll get into the North Star metric, the art of keeping it balanced, and finally, wrap it all up with a value creation story.
All right, first up, the silo trap. Let's really dig in here and understand this problem of isolated performance. Why is it so common? And more importantly, why doesn't a bunch of successful teams automatically equal a successful company?
So let's look at this comparison. In what we'll call the siloed world, you've got marketing totally obsessed with one number, customer acquisition cost. Meanwhile, over in HR, they're all about employee engagement. Now, both of those things are good, right? Of course, but in a unified world, the whole game changes. The question isn't, is my number good? The question is, how do all of our numbers actually work together to drive the one thing that matters, overall enterprise growth? It's a huge difference. So, how do we break out of this trap? Well, it takes a fundamental shift in how we even think about success. We have to stop measuring just the outputs, the busy work, the stuff we're doing, and start focusing on the outcomes. What are we actually collectively achieving? And this quote right here, it just nails it. The big idea is that functional KPIs, they're all about linking every single function's performance directly to those big picture enterprise outcomes. The new rule is this: every KPI, whether it's in marketing, HR, or engineering, has to have a clear direct line to what the company as a whole is trying to do. No more tracking activity just for the sake of being busy.
Okay, that sounds great in theory, but how do you actually get everyone aligned like that? The key is finding your organization's guiding beacon. It's true north, and that's where this really powerful concept called the North Star metric comes into play.
So what is a North Star metric? Simply put, it's the one number that best captures the core value your company creates. It's the ultimate measure of success. If that single number is going up, you know for a fact that the entire business is moving in the right direction. It just cuts through all the noise and provides absolute clarity for everyone.
Okay, so what does one of these actually look like in the wild? Well, for a company like a subscription service, it might be customer lifetime value. For a B2B software company, maybe it's net revenue retention. Are we keeping and growing our current customers? Or for another business, it could be sustainable margin growth. The specific metric doesn't matter as much as the principle. It has to be that single, high-level number that truly reflects what you're trying to achieve strategically.
But wait a second. You might be thinking, focusing on just one thing, doesn't that sound a little dangerous? I mean, we're always told not to put all our eggs in one basket. What happens when the entire company is obsessed with improving just a single number? What could go wrong?
That is an excellent and very important question. And the answer brings us to the art of balance. To stop that laser focus from becoming dangerous tunnel vision, you have to give your North Star a partner, a powerful partner called a countermetric.
So what's a countermetric? Think of it as your safety net, or like the guardrails on a highway. It's the other number you watch to make absolutely sure that while you're racing towards your North Star, you're not accidentally driving off a cliff somewhere else. It's what ensures your success is actually sustainable.
And here's where you really see that healthy tension in action. Let's say your big push is for speed of delivery. Awesome. But if you only focus on that, quality might tank, right? So you balance it with a countermetric around quality measures. That way you're not just shipping junk faster. Or look at this one. If you're pushing for aggressive cost reduction, you've got to balance that with something like innovation investment. Otherwise, you might save a buck today, but totally sacrifice the future of the company.
So when you get this right, when you put the North Star and its countermetrics together, something amazing happens. You stop just looking at a dashboard of random numbers.
You start telling a story. And we call this the value creation story. But like any good story, it needs a storyteller, or maybe more like an orchestrator, to bring it all together.
And that's really the job of a CXO or any senior leader today. Their role isn't just to be a manager who stares at a dashboard and asks why a number is red. No way. Their job is to be an orchestrator, to weave all these different metrics together into a single, clear, compelling story about how this company actually creates value.
So let's walk through what that story might sound like, step by step. It could start with HR, right? They work on their thing, improving employee engagement. But it doesn't just end there as a good job HR moment. No, that improved engagement leads directly to higher productivity company-wide. Then, that higher productivity fuels better innovation, which might be our key countermetric. And all of that sustainable innovation, ladders right up to our North Star, sustainable margin growth. You see that? Every single piece connects. It's a perfect chain of value.
So let's bring this all home. Why go through all this trouble? Because a balanced system like this is the difference between being busy and being effective. It truly drives alignment. It gets everyone, and I mean everyone, pulling in the exact same direction. It builds resilience because you've got those countermetrics preventing you from making dumb, short-sighted mistakes. And at the end of the day, it's what creates real, sustainable, long-term impact.
So I want to leave you with one final thought to take back with you. The next time you look at your team's dashboard or your company's KPIs, ask yourself this: is this just a collection of random, disconnected numbers, or does it tell a single, powerful story about how we create value? What's the real story your metrics are telling?